So let's get started. We're going to model UV map and create the diffuse texture for this PS2. So let's go ahead and jump into 3ds Max. So here we have our typical 3ds Max. You're going to have your default workspace, which is fine. Over here we can change our viewports to either 1, or we can use the shortcut Alt-W, bring up our perspective. I always recommend to use all 4 views to help you in modeling. For now, I'm mostly going to be using the perspective view and either realistic or shaded, or even consistent colors. So let's go ahead and start by the Create tab on the command panel here. Hover your mouse over any of these and it'll tell you what it is. We go Box. And I'm going to go to the Modify, and I'm going to call this my PS2. And over here we will get some segments that will actually tell us if we want height segments or whatnot. And I am going to do 2, and that's because I've already collected some sample images here, which let us know kind of what we're looking for. So we got this picture of the PS2, and it extrudes out on the front and right side. So that's what we're going to be wanting to create. So let's do that. So I went ahead and cut that line all the way around so that we can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and convert this into an editable poly. We'll drop down and we have our 5 modes here, which you can click either one of these buttons. It doesn't really matter. So we'll go into polygon mode, and I'm going to select these 2 polygons right here, and we'll go over to our Edit Poly tab here. You'll see all these wonderful rollouts here that you can minimize to get them out of your way. And we will go ahead and hit the Extrude option box. And I highly recommend using the option boxes so you can actually get the settings that you want when you don't know all the shortcuts yet. So we're going to do, you can sort through these and just see what they do. And we're actually going to do local normal and check that. And if we look at this, you can kind of see that it's crooked. And so we can fix this one of 2 ways. We could go into the top view, and I could move this point over and line it up, right? I could look at the coordinates for these points. So these points right here are on the X and Y, right? We're going to be Y here, -40. Right, so we grab this one and we could just simply put it in there, and you see it straightens it out. So then we grab the coordinates for this one and then apply it to that one. Right, that's one way. We're going back to our perspective. You can just hit P for perspective on your keyboard. We can grab this polygon here and go to Edit Geometry, and we can simply do Make Planar X, Y, and Z. So you just click them, Control Z if it doesn't work. So Y, right, it flushes it up against the Y, makes it planar. We could do this one, Make Planar, by the X, and voila, there we go. So now we've got these flattened out. We might want to kind of look at this. So I've got my front and left views here. So this will kind of give us an idea if that's really how much we want it to extend out. And just kind of looking at some of the reference images here, we will be able to tell where that's at. So this gap needs to be fixed a little bit. So I'm just going to hit T for top view, and we can simply make a few changes here by maybe scaling. I think that one's probably okay. We might want to bring this one in a little bit. We could do some more exact measurements if we really wanted, but let's just kind of keep it simple for now. And really, this is all you need for a game model, right? We're just modeling this for game design, so we don't necessarily need to do all this high poly details unless we were doing something for a commercial or animation. So, and if we hit 7 on your keyboard, you'll see our polygon count. We have 18 polygons. I'm sorry, 16 polygons and 18 verts. So that's looking pretty good so far. So we got our model done. So let's move on to the next step, and let's unwrap this so that we can apply a texture in Photoshop. So to do that, let's drop down the modifier list, and we are going to hit U and select Unwrap UVW. Give us the modifier here. And if you try to reset the UVs, it's not going to do anything because they are their defaults so far. So what I like to do is turn off, ignore backfacing, and select the whole model. We'll go ahead and open up the UV editor here. And let's go ahead and just help map this and just hit commit. And if you didn't see that, it's kind of hidden, right? We just hit commit, that's it. We'll then see that we have our pieces, move this over here, set aside. So what we can start by is breaking these apart. So I'm going to select these three on the top, quick peel them, pull them off to the side, grab these, quick peel and move them off to the side, grab these, quick peel and move them off to the side. There's the bottom. And there's also a nice easy tool that is under the edit UVs, and that's the quick planar map. So if we just do a quick planar map, and I'll show you real quick, selecting that, just do a quick planar map and it flattens it for you. So if we reselect this top and do a quick planar map, it's going to planar it, straighten it out already for us so that we don't have to go through straighten and relax and all that. You can select a piece, straighten it, and then quick peel it again, so we've got a nice straightened out piece, right? So we can do that again. We'll just go ahead and straighten that, quick peel it. Leaves us with a few more pieces, right? So we can quick peel it, straighten it, quick peel it. There's our piece. Let's see what else. We got this one side here. Just alt drag to deselect, and we'll go ahead and quick peel that as well and pull that off to the side. When you have everything, you want to select everything. You can also press Control A to select all, and we will arrange these elements. And what we're going to do is rescale them so that they're at their proper positioning. And you could scale these in here, make them fit a little bit better. Now let's look at our PS2 real quick, right? We got to plan this for every object appropriately. So with the PS2, if you notice, we get this wraparound texture. What we're going to want to do is make that easier on us to unwrap and paint this in Photoshop. So I'm going to go to element mode, grab this, I'm going to rotate this. If it doesn't rotate, you can turn on angle snapping so you can get it to snap correctly. I'll make it easier by 5 degrees. So we got this piece. We've got this piece. And what we can do is grab this one edge here and do stitch custom. Slaps them together. Now we can simply take and texture straight across those ridges without having to worry about anything. We've got our bottom and our top. We need to still get everything to fit. So that's going to be our largest piece. So let's go ahead and make that fit appropriately. And then we would just begin to line these up where we want them. I had my UVs a little bit different when I did this the first time, and I just realized, hey, you know, there's a couple better ways. The more you do this, the better you're going to get. So we'll take these two edges, stitch custom, voila, there we go. We got another piece right here ready to go. So we want to make sure everything's in our 1-to-1 space right here, and we have got this locked and loaded, and we've used up most of our space. You don't want to have a whole lot of space. You don't want this real tiny, you know, up in the corner or anything. You want to use your space well. So now we got that done. Let's go ahead and export out our UVs. So we go Tools, Render UV Template. We can go ahead and stick with 1024 by 1024. I'll render UV template. You're going to get this big window here with the UVs. just go ahead and save that out. I'm going to do that to my desktop, and we will go ahead and call this PS2 underscore, let's do UV template for now. And you can either save this out as a JPEG or a PNG, up to you. I like to do a PNG so I can have some transparency. So let's grab PNG. Go ahead and save that. RGB 48 is fine. We could also do 24. Do that with the alpha channel. So okay. You can close this out, close this window out, and then we want to save our UVs and just kind of bake them in. So we're just going to go ahead and collapse this. So we can do collapse all, and it collapses everything in your modifiers tab. You just hit yes, collapses everything. So now we don't have to worry about accidentally messing up our UVs. So now we can go ahead and open up Photoshop, and we're going to go ahead and grab that PS2. Aha! There we go. Drag it right in. And when you drag that in, it's automatically going to create this wonderful file size. You can just click and hold and see it's 1024 by 1024. So let's get to rocking. We'll name this UV. Go ahead and create another layer. Let's call this our background, or you can also call this our base, which I like to do. So go ahead and make that some sort of gray color. Now we can see our UVs. And you can clearly tell what they are, right? We've got the front part of it, the right side. We've got the back, the left side, top, and the bottom. So we can go ahead and save this. Let's see. We'll do file save as. And we'll go ahead and name this DIFF for diffuse, because this is going to be our diffuse map, which is the color map, the color channel. Let's save this as a Photoshop file for now, and we'll go ahead and save that. So now what we need to do is get to editing some of our pictures, and this gets into the Photoshop tools that we've learned. So we want to grab some pictures and get started. So let's see here. I've already created this, so let me show you how I created this one. So I got this image here, and it's got a pretty good perspective on it. So we can jump into the perspective crop tool, which apparently I don't have because this is an older version of Photoshop. But you grab the perspective crop tool, normally in CS6 or above, and it'll let you actually line up the corners with the shape, and then you'll crop it. And when you do so, you will get it to flatten out like this, of which we can go ahead and grab this. Yeah, so anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll crop this, and we can unlock this layer, and we'll go ahead and grab this layer. So we can just Control-C to copy, and close this out. We don't need it no more. Come over here, and we will paste it in. We can go ahead and normally you'd want to get this the accurate scale, so you can see my model is a little bit off the measurements. It needs to be squished a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and call that OK for now. Get to rolling. So we can either hit enter or check the box. So we can hide the UVs or also bring them down so that we can still see the lines, and get rolling on this. Let's also grab the front. Bring one of these in here. And we're just going to line this up, and we'll go ahead and cut this out. It's funny, my baby's just sitting here watching me, enjoying this video. So go ahead and say hi. You gotta say it louder.
Okay.
There we go. He's just like, come on, Daddy, get back to work. Alright, so here we go. Let's keep rolling. Alrighty here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just do Control-C, Control-V to paste it. This is going to be our grill. I'll go ahead and delete that layer for now. Grab our grill and bring it up here. Yeah. M for marquee, and let's go ahead and grab this bottom vent because it doesn't go here. So we want to go ahead and just cut that out. So I'm going to do Control X, Control V, and this USB underscore vents for now. Probably want to spend some time cleaning that up real good, but that's okay. And we'll go ahead and grab one of these colors and throw that on our base. Show you how to do the rest of this grill here. We will go ahead and grab this portion here, copy and paste it. Get on the right layer. There we go. We can leave that line there. That's where the edge of the PS2 is going to be. Go ahead and turn on our base, and we'll hide the UV template. Let's go ahead and save this. Won't need that, so we've got this saved. We're going to go back to 3ds Max. Get our material editor. And drag out a standard here. Drag on our PS2 texture here, plug it in the diffuse. I'll hit this little button to show shaded material in viewport, or you can do show realistic. With our object selected, we'll right click assign material to selection. And we can turn off edge faces. And you can see that's what we got going on so far. You can check out the consistent colors. Go back into Photoshop, and I would continue texturing this. And there's a few tricks that we can do, like we can take these two grills and merge them together. So we'll go ahead and merge layers. So we got one grill going across there. We might want to grab the feet to put them on the bottom and the sides. We do that as well. And let's see, the USB, let's do the back. So we'll do back plate. We can run through some of these modes here. So we could do levels, Control L, bring up our levels here, and we can kind of try to manipulate this in such a way. Right, we could try to lighten it down and then maybe do something like a soft light. You can get a grasp of that a little bit. It's starting to kind of blend in a little bit better. Still need to change a few things here. We need a piece of that grill. Look at our UVs here. And we'll have to check that just to see how that turns out. Right? We can get a zero hardness brush. Bring this down. We're on the wrong layer. Here we go. And we'll just take this. And merge these layers. Oops. Oh yeah, that's right. I did a soft light. So when we merge them, then we're going to have to go back to doing a soft light if that's what we wanted. So you kind of get the general idea of kind of how to tweak that. The other thing that we could do is jump up here on this, and we'll create a new layer, and this is going to be our noise layer. We'll go up to Filter, Noise, Add Noise, and make sure you do monochromatic. You want to make sure that it's gray, right? So something like that. And we're going to do, let's do, got screen. And so it's kind of hard to see it, but you can tell I'm just adding some pixelated noise to everything. So all the pictures have noise now and kind of go together. So we can save that, go back to 3ds Max, and it will update as well. Now, we'd have to do some further editing. I want to try to keep this as short as possible, but in the video that I did, I actually did a gray so it was a little bit more visible. And for my base color, I just got the gray simply from off of that. So now you can kind of see things coming together a little bit more. And then I would have to take off these vents and everything and kind of make that match as well. We could also try doing like this darker gray. There's our base. There we go. So now I would just continue editing this until I get to where I need to be, and I'll show you my other layer here. Let's pull this up. So I just dropped this in. This was my other copy that I did. Spent a little bit more time on here. I put a brightness and contrast so you can kind of see the difference, and you can kind of tell the detail that I painted in. So here's my noise layer right here that added in some additional noise. You see I've got my feet. That's the side pocket. Got the feet there. We've also got the feet on the bottom. We've got the caution texture that I put in there. I did soft light again, so we can look at this normal. So you can see I use my levels to brighten that up. Right, you can see I kind of messed up some stuff. This was high resolution. But just doing that quickly got that in there. I also put like a slight scratch texture here that we put a soft light and reduce the opacity. And then we've got the back edge right here. Got the back fans. You can see that texture, wonderful texture here that I've cleaned it out, flushed it out to match the gray background. And it's currently soft light opacity 76. We can bring that up. You can kind of see the dark gray now. We'll change this to normal mode, and you can see how bright it is because the soft light kind of put it up there softly. So that worked out really well. So if you were wanting to do it that way, right, you have to go into your levels and bring in the whites, right? You want to get the whites in there. That way you can do a soft light. I mean, you could try doing overlay and some of the others to test it out, right? It's not a big deal. Then we have our front grille layer that goes all the way across. We've got the USB that I just cut out the vents. Got some extra stuff there. Same thing, it's soft light, normal. You can see it's pretty bright. And then we've got the lovely PS2 logo and the top logos that I didn't quite finish, but there we have it. We've got some hidden vents that I didn't quite finish, but I put the outline there. And then we've got another layer, my original layer of noise that I did, and then my base color. We've got base and base noise. You could even throw on a hue and saturation and maybe mask out some areas if we wanted to make this gold. Right, there's our mask right here, so we can go ahead and why not? Let's need a slightly larger brush for that. Just grab this. There we go. Now we've got a gold PlayStation 2 or whatever color you'd want to tweak that if you wanted to see what it looked like getting some kind of other colored PS2. There we go. Got a nice red colored PS2. Anyway, all in all, either one of these, you can go through and tweak it, do your erasing or changing your blending modes and just blend it together. I could go in and get the actual picture of each PS2 edge, like the top, and apply it, do all my photo editing and get it to match up so that I can get this to come around to this, right? So then we have our final product, PS2, spinning around with all our different textures on it that we've done. And that kind of brings us to a close right there where you've got it, what we've got so far. Right, and if we hit F9, get a nice little render, you can kind of see a little bit more what it would look like. So kind of looks a little bit different than in this view. We're seeing the actual colors, so you can see the actual render of what it would look like. You can see it's a lot closer to color than it is in the viewport. So we're also on consistent colors, but either way. Anyway, and so that about covers that. Add one real quick last thing, and that is with circular objects, just to give you a quick recap on that. Pull out our grid here. Anytime you kind of have any circular objects, like a paint can or anything like that, and you need to break it up. So let's do our inset. We'll do our extrude, but we're going to go inward, and by group is fine. Let's do it about there. Good. Say this is anything, really. To UV map this properly, depending on the object, it kind of depends. So let's rotate this 90 degrees and go back. Unwrap. That's going to put our seam almost the front where we want it. So we can go in here and look at our UVs. When you have something flat like that, it looks like it kind of already separated it out for us, but you can just simply do a quick planar map, separate it out, quick planar map that piece, the bottom. Right, and if we grab this polygon, we can extend our selection. It doesn't seem to want to work for us this time, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and grab this piece, turning on our element mode here. So currently, if we quick peel this, that's that side, and we might want this top piece. So let's do a grow. We'll quick peel that out, move it out of the way. And then that leaves us with this one piece here, which we can quick peel. Let's see if we get that. Let's get this. We'll pelt map it to get rid of all the seams. You could also just do a planar map, which will kind of do the same thing. And then we can quick peel it, and you'll kind of see it's all. We need to put a seam here, so we can go to Edit Seam, or point-to-point seams, and we can just draw up the seam all the way up there, like so. Then we just redo our quick peel. And voila. Put a seam on the inside. You can grow this, deselect that, and then quick peel that. You can also do these little shortcuts here, which will give you a nice idea. So that's the bottom, that's the top. Awesome. We can take all of these, and we could also do a quick pack, and that'll kind of get that pretty close what we need. So now we have these areas kind of taken care of. We've got the bottom of the can, the inside bottom, the inside wrap, and the outside wrap, and we'll be able to get that edge right on top. So you could also do, and it's going to warp our texture a little bit. This is going to be a little bit more accurate the way it is, but we could do straighten and then quick peel it, or just use the straighten and call that good. This is going to be a little bit more accurate to the shape. So then we save that out, and we could do our texture for the can.